You're watching Let's Chat.
As promised, Dr. Tiffany Ahlberg is here, and she is the driving force behind Ahlberg Audiology and Hearing Aid Services. Dr. Ahlberg, glad to have you here.
Glad to be here.
A lot of folks may not be familiar with just how important the sense of hearing is and how easy it is to either stop or even reverse that hearing loss. What age should you be when you make sure you have that hearing check every year or every 2 years?
So we consider 50 the magic number for having a baseline hearing test. So that's about the age where people start to have, even if it's just a little bit of a decline, a change in what their initial hearing used to be.
Even if you're not at the 50-year mark yet, what are some of the key signs to look for or to listen for when your hearing is going down?
So oftentimes it is other people that notice before we do. So I feel like a lot of times people feel like they're faking it really well and they're getting by and they're nodding their head and saying yes, and other people around them are looking at them like, you know, what's going on? The TV may be louder. You're having to turn the TV up and everybody else is like, that's hurting my ears. You have trouble hearing when you're in background noise especially. So there's a misunderstanding a lot of times that when you have hearing loss, like you don't hear anything. It doesn't start that way. It usually starts with just not being able to hear clearly or being able to distinguish one word from another.
Just a little bit at a time, and that's so progressive but yet so gradual. Sometimes it's really hard to put your finger on it. A lot of times when you have a cold, think of it like this. Your hearing kind of goes in the damper when you have a cold, so you're speaking louder to other people and you don't know it.
Yeah.
Is that a sign your hearing's going?
Now, it can be, but I have found with dealing with a lot of my patients that even though hearing loss, you know, with hearing, people do speak up to hear themselves. You know, like I'm an audiologist, I talk loud. And so I feel like a lot of times maybe someone's a teacher or a professor, or they're they have some kind of leadership role where they're talking to multiple people, and they project their voice more than others. So sometimes it's just a trait of, or it's a trait of the job. But
so once we have been to your office and been diagnosed, and in your opinion, we need some help, what are the next steps? I know hearing aids have come a long, long way just over the past few years.
Yeah, they have, and there's so many different styles and technologies out there that they can be so discreet and almost invisible or invisible in a lot of cases. So it's identifying, and then it's coming to terms with the fact that are you ready for help now? I mean, that's the next step. And then we talk about the discussion of different hearing options that are available. How
do the hearing aids, even the top of the line that we can get from Ahlberg Audiology, differ from the cochlear implants?
So cochlear implants are for people who no longer are able to receive benefit from hearing aids. So people with cochlear implants start off with hearing aids, and then when their hearing gets to a certain level, a cochlear implant is a surgically implanted device that does use an external processor that looks sort of like a hearing aid. But hearing aids are more for mild, moderate, or moderately severe hearing losses. So we'll be able to determine that with a hearing test.
Tinnitus, tell me about that.
So tinnitus is a ringing or a subjective sound that people hear internally that no one else hears. And so tinnitus is usually a sign of some kind of hearing loss. And so as our brain is trying to hear other sounds in the environment, it turns up like an amplifier the internal sounds. So you hear these ringing sounds in your head. Most of the time, helping with the hearing loss will also help with that tinnitus sound that people are hearing.
It's glad to know that you can certainly help offset that. You're always welcome to come back here, Dr. Tiffany Ahlberg. Tell me how we can find out more information about you, your office, and how to get an appointment.
Okay, we have a Cleveland location and an Athens location. Our phone number in Cleveland is 423-641-0956, or you can visit our website at office@ahlbergaudiology.com.
Sounds great. We do hope you'll come back and see us again. Again, think about it. Your hearing is vitally important. We've got to take a quick time out. Actually, we got to run. We will be back here later on today. Hope you will join Amelia and I here for News 12 starting at noon. Hey!